my name is AJ. I'm a grateful recovered alcoholic addict, and I want to share a little bit of my story. First of all, it's National Recovery Month, and that's huge for people like me because it's our month to be able to express and show hope for people that are hopeless. I was born in West Palm Beach, Florida, and I was raised here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Struggled with drug addiction from the time I was 12 till the time that I was 32. I had tried multiple times to get sober on my own, and it never worked. I was homeless on the streets in Chattanooga for over a year and a half, sleeping on park benches, bouncing from hotel to hotel, trafficking large amounts of meth and heroin. And needless to say, it left me to the point to where I just wanted to die. I had people in my life that told me, "You're gonna die with a needle in your arm. You're gonna die in prison. You're nothing." And that stuck with me for a long time. My drug addiction really started at the time where I was 11 years old. I was sexually molested as a kid for 3 months. I didn't ever tell anybody. I didn't tell a friend. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell a teacher. I bottled it up inside and I tried to forget about it. I remember late nights just laying in my bed, balled up in a fetal position, just wishing it would go away. After 3 months, it finally stopped, and that's when my drug addiction started taking off. At 12 years old, I caught my first charge, grand theft auto. I stole a car. I was using meth and cocaine by the time I was 13, smoking weed, drinking, doing all the things that I shouldn't have been doing. Dropped out of school in 8th grade. Never went past 8th grade, and my parents, they tried everything they could to help me, but I didn't want their help. I knew what was best for me. Living on the streets was what was best for me. Hanging out with people that I shouldn't have been hanging out was best for me. And needless to say, it left me homeless, in jail, in prison, locked up with nobody. I had my first child at 18 years old. I was never a father to them. And now I have 6 kids. At the time, I wasn't able to be in their lives because I was physically there, but mentally and spiritually, I was not. I was a child myself, trapped in a man's body. And I think it was like 21 years old, I robbed 3 pharmacies here in Chattanooga. I went to jail and spent time in jail and got out, and I was on probation. And that was really just setting myself up for failure. As soon as I got out and put on probation, I tried to get sober. I didn't use any drugs, but I was drinking. And I always thought that drinking was okay. But sooner or later, it led me back to even harder things, from pills to meth to heroin. And when I found heroin, I found myself on the streets. I found myself away from my kids for 5 years. I wasn't the father that they needed me to be. I wasn't the husband that I needed to be to my wife. And needless to say, I was broken. I had my last child while I was homeless. I found out she was pregnant. I was sitting at the hotel on Missionary Ridge on the curb on Christmas Day. It was about 30 degrees outside, and my ex looked over at me and said, "I'm pregnant." And I was dope sick, and the only thing I could think about was getting high. So after that, I got arrested, and I was so grateful to be arrested because that's when my life started to change for the better. I got arrested for a probation violation, and ended up back in jail, spent about a year, got out, moved to Florida, South Florida, and tried to get sober, stay sober. And I didn't use any narcotics, but needless to say, I was drinking. And I did that for about 3 years. And then my luck ran out, my world came to an end, and I had a needle in my arm. I tried to commit suicide by overdose. First time I'd ever overdosed, and it was on purpose. I was looking at myself in the mirror at 10 o'clock that morning with a needle in my arm, with a gram of fentanyl and a gram of cocaine. I took the shot, and immediately I was out. I fell out on the floor, and I was laying on my arm. The maintenance man was banging on my door at 5 o'clock that evening, because there was a leaky faucet in the room. He knew I was in there and I didn't respond, so he ended up kicking the door. Came inside and found me, unresponsive, not breathing, and blue. Called the police called the ambulance. They got there, and when they did get there, they found me unresponsive. Hit me with the Max Narcan 4 times. I still wasn't responding. I didn't wake up till midnight that night, and I woke up to a black bag next to me. I was mad that I woke up. I was mad that I couldn't kill myself. I was mad at the world because I wanted to die. I ran for another 2 weeks getting high, and then something clicked. A light came on. And when that light came on, my life started to change. I finally got honest with myself and I went and got help. I had a friend that worked at a rehab and he got me in. I went to detox and I went to residential. After that, I went to a treatment center where they introduced me to EMDR trauma therapy. They also introduced me to 12-step immersion. The first time that I'd ever heard of a 12-step fellowship, it was life-changing. It saved my life. It put my hand in God's hand. It allowed me to become the man that I was supposed to be. It taught me how to be a father. It taught me how to be a husband. And it taught me how to live life on life's terms without using drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol are merely a symptom of a much bigger problem. Self-centeredness and selfishness ruled my life for over 20 years. I was full of fear, anger, and just all the toxic traits of an alcoholic addict. Today, I'm 3 years sober almost. I have my kids in my life. My son just moved in with me. I get to have my kids every weekend. I have 2 amazing treatment centers here located in Chattanooga that I'm the managing partner of. I get to help multiple people all over this country. I have a Facebook page with 28,000 followers. I get to do interventions on countless people, and I get to live a life that is absolutely beautiful without drugs and alcohol. I got my license back. I'm not on probation. I don't take any medicine at all, and I live a happy life today. And it's all because of recovery. Recovery changed my life, and it can change yours. It's changed countless people's lives. You are not too far gone to get help. If you have that moment of clarity where that light comes on, run with it. Run as fast as you can towards that light, and it can change your life immediately.